Hi English 102 students. This video is about APA documentation and the resources you can use to help you when you're creating your reference page and also when you're going to do your in-text citations. So when you log into MyDTCC, you're here on the resources page, and as you all know, the Delaware Tech Library has many database sources to help you with your research. However, if you look further down, there's other helpful library information, and what we're focusing on today is APA-style documentation, this PDF. When you click on it, it brings you to a color-coded APA citation style guide, and it gives you how to cite references for your reference page. Remember, it's not called a bibliography in APA, it's called references. When you look down, it has you follow color codes throughout the guide to help with different parts of a citation. Author, date and year, titles of the chapter, the electronic website, volume, whatever your source has, depending on the type of source it is. So let's start as the guide starts, with books. Notice for a book, you're always putting the author's last name, initials, either 1 or 2 depending, the year in parentheses, years always go in parentheses for a reference list, the title of the book, location, and publisher. So this would be a book possibly a student would use for researching social media for a research paper. Notice that the title of the book is Likeable Social Media, and the subtitle is How to Delight Your Customers, Create an Irresistible Brand, and Be Generally Amazing on Facebook. The author's name is here. Now, if we go back to our guide, we saw that we had an author, we saw that we had a title and subtitle. The things that we would need to look further inside the flap of the book is for the year and for the publication city and state and the publisher. Notice that our guide here tells us if our book has one author, which our sample did here, David Kirpin. The guide also goes on to show if you have 2 to 6 authors, or if you have a book with a corporate author, maybe the American Psychiatric Association, or a book with no author, and you start with the title of the book. Okay, so that's for books. The next in our guide shows reference books, and that would be encyclopedias, and you'd have to check with your instructor if you're allowed to use an encyclopedia in your research. Some instructors don't allow it because encyclopedias are too simple or basic for a larger research work. Then we come down to periodical articles. These are your journal articles, your newspaper articles, or your magazine. Notice again, it starts with the author's last name and initials. If you have more than one author, it goes on to show you that. The year, again, is in parentheses. The title of the article, the periodical, volume number, in italics, issue number in parentheses, and page numbers. This is for periodicals or journals or magazines that you have the actual hard copy of. So in this case, I would have the hard copy in my hands of the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, not the online version. Notice it gives me a volume and an issue number. It gives me a date. And if I go to open this up, it's showing me that maybe I'm referencing the Attitudes and Social Cognition by all of these authors. So I would come back here and I would see that I'd have to list the author's names, the title, the journal article title, the journal title, the volume, the issue, and the page numbers that it was in inside of this publication. Now, the biggest part and the biggest section that students will focus on is the internet and online sources. So again, author, date of publication, on and on, color-coded the same way. That's for internet pages or internet sites where I go and I find an article such as this one. I found this on the Government Technology site under Justice and Public Safety. It gives me my title of my article here. It gives me my author's name. It gives me a date, and it gives me the source in which it was found, the San Francisco Chronicle. And so I scroll down, and there's my article there. Again, it tells me information about the article. That would be this section, non-periodical internet site articles. The last one, and probably the bulk of what your sources will be, is from an online database. And those are the databases that we can find back here under Delaware Tech Libraries. So I find an article there, and again, author, year, title. So here's an example from EBSCOhost. The author is Alex Palmer, last name, first name. Here's the title of the article. Here's the source it's in. Here's the year information, volume and issue and page number. So I would take that here, author, year, title, source information, volume, issue, page numbers. If it has a DOI, it goes here. I look back here and I see mine doesn't have a DOI. So what I would do is I would say I got it from the master file Premier database. I look back here and I make sure that I'm referencing it exactly as it tells me on this sheet that the library has provided. The last part of the sheet talks about references for in-text citations, and there'll be another video that goes more into depth on that. But this is a quick, really good resource for looking at a source that only has one author. How do I cite it in the paper? A source with 2 authors, 3 authors, etc. So remember, when you're not sure how to reference something, you can go right to the Dell Tech Library Resources, click on APA style documentation, match any one of your sources up with those color-coded guides on this resource that is available anytime you click in. And this way, instead of having to ask your instructor or look at a separate website, all the information you need is here. I hope you find this video helpful. Good luck with your research.